Hi, Katzcradul here. Everybody's been asking about Pepper, so I'm going to bring her in at the end of this video and let her talk to you a little bit. She's been really busy and it's hard to tie her down, but she was willing to go on video for just a little bit today. I want to show you something I've been working on. I know I showed you earlier in the season how terrible my broccoli was eaten up with Japanese beetles, and it looked dreadful, and it still doesn't look terrific. But I've kind of played this game this year. I pretended that what if I were a pioneer going west with a year's supply of seed, and I had to extend my growing season as long as possible and can and dry and put up everything I could in order to make it through that first winter. What would I be willing to do? Here's a little yellow hairy caterpillar I found on the broccoli when I was cutting it. So I have tried to save everything all season long, and I saved and babied this broccoli. I have watered it a little bit. I have used a little bit of worm tea on it, and I am harvesting broccoli about every 3 days, and it's enough for us for dinner, and I've even frozen some, and it just keeps producing like crazy. Now the flower heads have been a little bit bitter, but the stalks are absolutely delicious, and I think I'm going to be able to keep it alive until first frost and hope it will just keep producing. Look how beautiful this broccoli is. And that is broccoli that I planted the 1st of May, and I've kept it alive all summer through the drought, through 110-degree days. There was a week of those 110-degree days. I've also babied my green beans when they looked horrible and brown and anybody else would have pulled them down. I didn't give up hope. And now we're eating green beans, and they are delicious and sweet, and I'm having to pick them about every 3 days. They're just really prolific. Let's see what Pepper has to say.
Hey, this is Pepper. I haven't talked to you in a while. I want to share with you how I saved these eggplant this summer. You notice that they're green and gorgeous, and they're still producing. They have blossoms and everything on them. There's an interesting story behind these beautiful eggplant. This summer we had a terrible drought. We had a lot of heat. You know, we had 110-degree days where it was really hot, and it was just too hot for these eggplant. They had a good producing crop earlier in the late spring and early summer, but once it got so hot, they were dry and wilted and looking pretty dead. So Mom had this great idea of how to save them. She said that we wanted to take all the stress off of them so that they would be able to make more leaves and eventually maybe even produce more eggplant. And so what we did is we came out here and we cut all the eggplant off, even the ones that, you know, were only a couple inches long. We cut everything off, all the eggplant. And we cut all the brown dead leaves off. Now I was kind of nervous about this because there was only a few green leaves at the top, probably only about this much. Very, very small amount.
We left just bare stalks, right?
Right. It was just, there was no leaves, almost no leaves left when we got done. So we cut all those off and we watered them by hand a few times. And now you can see that they are lush and green. They have eggplant on them, nice long eggplant, and they have blossoms.
Pretty blossoms.
And big green leaves. So they're doing a lot better. And it was a good, worthwhile experiment. And this is what we would do if we really, really needed this as our primary food source. We would try to save our garden in any way possible.
What are you growing back here?
We have some beautiful okra that are going crazy. Hardly anybody has any okra in September, but we got these in a little bit late, but they're growing beautiful now. You see lots and lots of blossom buds, and here's one that was opened earlier today.
Yep, we wanted to stagger it so that the tomatoes didn't come in at the same time as the okra. It's just
it'd be too much
to deal with. So it worked, didn't it?
It worked. It definitely worked. What are those? This is our basil plant. It's gone crazy. It's one of the globe basils, and a few years back we had incredible success with this variety of basil. It got at least as tall as me, and it was you know, 3 times as big around. It was huge, and this one did pretty well as well. We're cutting the flowers off so it doesn't bolt and go to seed, but you can see we have lots and lots of these big, gorgeous green leaf stalks.
Here along the porch, we're training some sugar snap peas up each of these wrought iron supports. You can see it's about to be able to wrap around as we look out. This is the basil. This is my little fenced-in front yard. It's all garden. Believe it or not, that's just 5 okra seeds that were planted. That's my favorite variety, Clemson Spineless. And down by the fence, you'll see some little shoots, that sugar pod peas that are coming up there. Lots of things planted. You'll see a couple of little furrows, and we've got green onions and whatnot planted there, some lettuce. We're coming across, you'll see the stevia plant. I've already cut a bunch of that. A volunteer Roma tomato that kind of wraps around a couple little blueberry bushes. But lots going on. I hope you enjoyed hearing from A. She's my right-hand person. Don't know what I'd do without her. She is so good in the garden, and lately she's thinking she probably wants to be a horticulturist, so that's kind of exciting for me. Lots of opportunities for lessons in the garden. I know the sound quality isn't that great when we record right off the camera, but that's the way I have to do it to get her on. May just put the headset on her and let her get on the good mic sometime and just talk at you a little bit, because she sure likes hearing from you. And I hope you've enjoyed the update. Garden like it matters. Garden like you were dependent on the food in that garden, and it will change the way you look at things, and it will change your perception. Last year I did a video about this time of year called Don't Quit. You can go back and review that and see how much food I eked out of my garden at the last minute when everybody else was pulling theirs out. You need to think smart if you're thinking that your garden will be one of those elements that is important for the survival of your family. Hope this gives you some food for thought and some encouragement as well. Until next time, Cat's Cradle.